Hi, everybody, and welcome to the weekly Nobodies Makeover podcast. We are the Nobodies, and we have links below to all of our social media where you can find all of our upcoming shows. There's a bunch of them happening. I'm Ariel Italic.
I'm Lady Verica Andrews.
I'm here.
And we are going to talk about another wrestling star that we think deserves, or at least should have, a whole new outfit and look. We're going to explore their current character, what we think their current look says about them, and how we think that we could tell a new story with a brand new look. We are extremely fashionable, and we know what we're talking about.
Welcome to week 2 of whatever I named this podcast last week.
We are experts, and that's clear in everything that we've ever put out.
Put out.
Professionalism, everyone.
Cool.
So,
who are we doing?
This week, we are going to talk about Kenny Omega.
I think we should say we're doing them.
I'm going to go ahead and say talking about.
This week we're doing Kenny Omega.
Great. Kenny... Lady Perica Andrews is currently dying off mic.
Don't tell them I'm dying because they're already worried about me. I'm not dying. I'm just sick right now.
Anyway, so Kenny Omega is obviously a huge figure in wrestling, and his character can't really be summed up easily in like a tight package because he's had a journey.
You said huge character and tight package in the same phrase. That's all I'm saying. I'm not talking about Jake.
So,
Well, okay, so you've seen several of his horrible looks in the past. Which stand out as the most horrible to you?
Well, here's the thing. I don't remember any of them. All I remember is the hair and panties. And
What
not even
panties do you
specific
remember?
Panties. Not specific panties, just basic wrestle panties.
I will say that is a very Kenny Omega thing, that he has usually a big cosplay-oriented entrance look that just strips down into panties more often than not.
I thought he wore leggings.
I've seen some of both.
I've seen both, I think. Yeah. In the earlier days, he used to wear more panties and like DDT, and now he's wearing more leggings.
I guess I don't have like a good chronological sense of
Right.
what I'm watching.
That's fine.
But I do think that
I can't explain how my memory works.
he tends to wear video game inspired,
Yeah.
often somewhat cheap looking entrance looks,
Yes.
if I'm being perfectly honest.
Yeah, quite costumey.
And then most of that gets stripped off into a fairly basic, not particularly stylish ring look.
Right.
So, first of all, shave that fucking head.
Okay. Agreed in theory. He has given all these fucking impassioned speeches about how he's like, when I was a kid, I didn't have anyone with curly hair to look up to, so now I keep it. And I'm like, okay, sure.
But also, what a fucking lie. Like, do you think
Yeah,
curly hair was
seriously.
invented in the 90s? Like,
Gilda Radner, her husband.
Gene Wilder?
Gene Wilder. Who else? Let's name some. Bozo the Clown. Who else? Come on.
I mean, people had curly hair. I don't need
People
to go
have
through a
curly
list.
hair. Susan Sarandon. Who
Um,
else?
No,
I want one more.
Frankenfurter.
Frankenfurter. Come on, Kenny Omega. You have plenty of people to look up to. And if you're the fag that you want to be, Frankenfurter. Sorry.
He would look better with a buzzed head. He just would.
Or even just like, if it doesn't have to be fully buzzed, but he can go like a short, like a Jamie Dornan in the 6 degrees, not 6 degrees separation. Jamie Dornan in the 50 Shades of Grey.
You were going
short
there and I
curly.
didn't want you to.
I'm not.
Was he short and curly in that?
I haven't seen the movies, but he has like a shorter, but sort of like mussed up, curly-ish hair.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, he could look good with that.
Like,
So cute.
There's no need. I actually don't think that you're a good role model if you are serving curly hair that looks bad. That doesn't help curly-haired people.
Fair.
Like, your
Okay,
options
I'm sorry
are.
I brought up Gilda Radner. She was really funny. It's fine.
So I think that short hair is gonna, especially if you're gonna queer bait, don't be fucking ugly about it. Like, if you're gonna queer bait, you go to a gay hairdresser who will take the fuck care of you.
Yeah, I can't argue with that.
So, other than being a queer baiting loser, just kidding. He's probably coming out this month. That's the rumor.
No. Really?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll see.
He might have come out by the time we put this podcast out.
What's the
so
next?
apologize.
What's the next?
What?
Sorry, I was really excited because I have this idea in my head about him already.
Okay, we'll get there.
So,
Considering he might come out, he might have come out by the time we release this. So apologies if he's out, but
Oh, so if you don't come out, you don't come out. Whatever. Fuck you.
Yeah. It's complicated. I wrote about it. You could go read about it. What are the other aspects of his character that we need to express through his clothes?
obviously there is like a nerdy aspect. He's really into video games and comic books.
Yeah.
And he wants to bring that out. I think.
How do we make that not suck?
Let's step it up a notch. And this is my idea, Frankenfurter. Like, let's get like real sexy about it. Like, let's go that
I mean,
route.
he does play like
Let's go Final
a sexy
Fantasy.
character. I mean, yeah, that was my suggestion.
Let's go
We'll get
actual
there.
like elevated Final Fantasy.
That was we'll get. That's my idea for it.
Mhm.
Is take it into a more high fashion version of an anime thing, because there are ways to do that in a very fashionable way, and the way he's doing it just looks very cheap. And we do have a vendetta against cosplay. I do think there are people pulling it off well. Not many. Not many. Professional cosplayers tend to do it better than wrestlers, obviously.
And some drag queen cosplayers.
Yes.
Cosplayers.
Who are professional cosplayers.
Yes.
But the cheap version that they're trying to pull off in a lot of wrestling isn't working. So what my thought of doing was something very Final Fantasy VIII Squall Leonhardt main character, where it's just a leather jacket with a fur trim and black leggings, and that's it. And you just keep it understated, but it's still anime. And he can still be kind of visual kei, glam, gay, yaoi fantasy in that. But it's just got to be taken to a higher, more expensive level.
Expensive.
My concern with that specific jacket is that it's gonna read to Bane if there's not other fantasy elements worked into
There
it.
can be like a few extra buckles a la most Final Fantasy things, but like if you like, I don't think it will if you get the right tailoring on it, and I don't think it will if you get the right like cut on it.
Yeah, I'm fine with him staying in a superhero-y place. Like, I think it doesn't necessarily have to resemble real clothes, but what I would like to see, Kenny Omega sounds like the name of a superhero, and I think that rather than playing shitty versions of other characters, I would love to see him refine what he thinks Kenny Omega the superhero actually wears, and to have, he doesn't have to wear the same thing every time, but to have a more consistent version of what that superhero's costume is, I think would help. Like, there are a lot of people who have a fairly consistent visual style.
Sure.
And he doesn't.
He's doing other characters, basically.
Like, if you pick a character, like maybe there is a specific style of jacket you wear. Maybe there is a specific, armband or some sort of like I like that there's an armor element sometimes to his
that's
shit.
nice.
Like if you have like a one piece of shoulder armor or whatever that you can do in different colors or different materials, but something that is iconic to the Kenny Omega character,
right?
And then you can tell a story through that.
But then there starts to be a sort of toyetic element to that, where it's like, oh, are you just wearing toyetic?
Toyetic.
Yeah, like it's designed so that you could sell toys of something.
Well,
why not sell a fucking toy?
They're gonna sell a toy anyway.
They're gonna sell a merch thing anyway.
AEW toys, y'all.
Yeah, I want them. I want the Sunny Kiss action figure.
Yeah. Oh fuck.
So I would just say I want to see the element of what his character looks like, because I think he's too varied in his current style.
Agreed.
What was your idea?
I have a lot of ideas floating in my head right now. But going back to the Frankenfurter thing, I think what clicked with me with that is that if he wants to keep his hair, dye it black and like get kind of gothy about it or whatever. There's plenty of like anime comic characters that are like dark and like I don't know. It's just like this highlighted we all highlighted our hair in the 90s, or most of us. I don't know. I did. And that's done. That's the trend that we left back there.
It's going to be back this year.
What?
Ezra Miller already did it.
Who?
The guy from what's his thing?
Ezra Miller can do whatever the fuck he wants.
That's true.
That's fine, but I think it's terrible.
Agreed. I think it's lazy. I think it's a lazy form of retro where it's like the most obnoxious thing. Like there are cooler things that happen in the 90s to revive.
Although I do miss the sensation of pulling my hair through a cap and bleaching it.
Well, you can still pull your hair through the cap at home, but then just don't bleach it.
What if that's my next ASMR is I'm pulling my hair through a cap?
That is an idea. One of the things that I don't want to happen. Yes. So let's say Kenny Omega does come out. What I would hate is if he then went full like sparkle queer.
He won't.
No, I don't think that he would necessarily choose to, but I would hate for a promotion to be like, oh, he is now our like big queer splash extravaganza.
Although he could snatch that look from Dalton Castle and really elevate it. I could see him really elevating that style and actually not just unwrapping the cape from Party City, but also but instead getting a cape from a designer that actually looks cool.
We should do Dalton Castle on a future episode.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Abso-fucking-lutely,
Yeah.
please.
But yeah, I think Kenny I would love for him to stick with his current character rather than do something new because of officially coming out.
Right.
But, I mean, the truth is, we all become someone new when we come out. When you walk out of the closet, something changes and you're released from what you were trapped in before. Whether or not he's trapped, I don't know his life. But, like, if we're talking about the coming out experience, that does fucking happen. Maybe I'm just speaking for myself, but your style changes, the way you talk changes, what you listen to changes a little bit, or what you're comfortable expressing changes.
I think in general, I totally agree with that. I think specifically to Kenny, because he's been playing with the idea of queerness for so long, I think that it says something different about him, like dipping his toe in the water for plot reasons and then coming out and doing it. Like there's a lot more wrapped up in it, you know?
We also know that Kenny will be in AEW for at least a little bit, and they if you're thinking in terms of a wrestling promotion, they have Sonny to be a very femme out person there, and he's going to do a great job. So it's like you don't need of course there should be more femmes everywhere. Yeah. But there's no need to kind of push him into that role.
Yeah, and for especially to relegate, if we have queer characters, they should all be that thing.
But he could play up being more I think after coming out, if he started wearing a little bit of an eye,
he feels,
if he started wearing a little bit,
leaning that way is because he feels more femme to me.
He does a little bit, yeah, and it would be kind of refreshing.
I don't see him as a mask guy.
True, that's true,
and that's what I'm projecting onto him. But that's just what I see. He doesn't look or feel femme to me. I mean, masculine.
He could play up being femme a little bit more after coming out in an interesting way, doing a little bit of a face.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Especially leaning into
Butch Queen, first time at the ball.
But if you're doing a fantasy anime look and you do a little a fantasy anime makeup.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah.
A superhero or anime or Final Fantasy thing lends itself, because then you can play with makeup in a way that also doesn't have to be in the masculine feminine spectrum, so
right?
Much just heightening.
It's just fantasy.
Yeah,
it's just fantasy.
That's a great way to play with his character. Is makeup.
Yeah. Hire us as consultants. AEW.
Oh my god.
Can you imagine how unqualified we are for that job?
No, I can imagine.
I think we're qualified.
I think how qualified we would be to be there.
Let's all listen back to this podcast later and then revisit that.
What? 1 year from now,
we're going to be in a consulting room with Cody Rhodes.
March 2020.
Do you guys hear her secreting over there?
It's funny how my secretion goes inside.
What?
I am cutting that sentence and that sound out.
Nope, you're not. You're absolutely not. Yeah, maybe. We don't know. Do you imagine that
It could happen.
we own our own microphones and soundboard a year last year? Do you imagine like we'd have like that or like be doing as much as we're doing?
I think it could happen. It's not likely.
I mean,
It could definitely happen
Stranger
for you.
things have happened.
You specifically, it could definitely happen for.
Cody, just call me.
Cody, call him.
Just,
Call me. Call me, baby.
More thoughts on Kenny though. Who do you want to like see him like feuding with in this new look?
I don't know. I don't know. Who else? Oh, who else is in AEW confirmed that I might know?
Chris Jericho,
Okay.
Sammy Guevara, who you probably don't know.
Nope.
And I might have gotten his name wrong. The Young Bucks.
Boop.
The Best Friends.
Who?
They're like a tag team. They're very cute, but also maybe said something bad on the internet once.
Yeah,
I don't
somebody
know.
did that. I did it last night.
You know what I would actually love? If we're gonna go for the Kenny Omega fantasy, I would love if he had a sort of Valentina feeling his fantasy aspect to it. Like maybe we bring
that's
back
fun.
because he was like young and had too much hubris. Maybe he's now a little delusional,
A little crazy about what he can accomplish.
Like she is in her own world and she
Yeah.
thinks that she is fierce.
In my fantasy, I'm the champion,
Yeah.
and like it's a little unhinged in
Yeah.
an unsettling way.
Ooh.
And then she can fight everybody because she thinks that she's better than everyone.
Yeah.
I just
And in a lot of cases, she is.
I'm fully
Yeah.
using female pronouns for
And-
Kenny Omega right now.
Same with Valentina. In a lot
Yeah.
of cases, she's better than people.
Yeah.
But in a lot of cases, she's not.
Yeah.
I think that that's a fun way to take Kenny Omega in character places, and that can also inform the outfits being more heightened. If he had like a really truly fashionable outfit, it would help him. Like you could then buy into his fantasy at least a little bit. If he's wearing garbage and he feels his fantasy, you're like, get it out of here.
Yeah. Because that's why Valentina is believable, because she actually does look
she
amazing.
looks fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, let's remember that he will not be, at least for a while, with Kota Ibushi in AEW, because Kota re-signed with NJPW.
Oh, that's kind of sad news, huh?
Yeah, I was actually Kenny's been flirtatious about it on the internet, where he's like, I think about you all the time, and then Kota is just like not having it. You've been through that breakup.
Ooh.
Oh my God! I was just stalking my ex on Instagram last night.
I know.
You saw. Ugh. Yeah.
Well, everyone's dealing with something. Do we have any final
Well,
thoughts?
but does that change how you, if he's in a tag team with another beautiful fantasy creature,
Cute.
like that's one thing, but as a solo character, do you address that? Who's like,
Do they do cross promotion, like addressing of things like that?
not often, but sometimes.
I mean, A&W. It's root beer. It feels like they might do something like
yeah,
that.
I'm sure they'll at least make reference to his storyline with Kota, even though Kota's not signed.
Huh.
I guess my thing with that is always like either say it or don't. Like if they are a couple that broke up, say that. If they are friends that miss each other, say that. But
Don't spray it.
I'm done with middle ground of like, oh, they miss each other and they're pretty together and blah blah.
So sick of sitting on fences.
Call it what it is,
Get off of the
regardless what it
fence.
is.
So if they did it and they were like, you were boyfriends, you would be like, whoa, cool.
I would be like, well, finally,
Cool.
is what I would be like.
fine.
But like, do you style that character differently?
Nope.
Interesting.
Well, what do you look like when you come out of a relationship, good or bad?
It depends. I actually think when you come out
That
of
could actually be his thrust into AEW is like, bitch, I'm a new boy.
I'm alone
I'm
now.
living
I'm not
my
with
new
Cody.
life. I'm not with this
Kota.
person. I am single. I am fucking Sex in the City, bitch. We're here.
you got to step that pussy up after a breakup.
Yeah.
That would be a
Yeah,
fun.
you
got to
go to Manolo.
They should play that up.
Yeah.
You got to go to Manolo or wherever your favorite shoe store is, and you buy those shoes that you need.
Mm-hmm.
Ow.
That's why his gear is better. He's like, oh no, I have to show her
Yeah.
how I look now.
And then at the end, he does a little like, this is what happened with my day, like Sarah Jessica Parker did on Sex and the City.
Sure, that's another way to
On
handle
a typewriter.
Also, we are now in a world where we could get a Kenny Omega versus Sunny Kiss match, which is just
Bitch.
insane to think
Sunny
about.
Kiss would scoop him up, slurp him up, and drop him.
And
Slurp, slurp.
both of them can do more kind of like serious wrestling, but also like flirtatious, silly wrestling.
Into it.
Okay, now I think we're out of ideas.
Oh, I think we started out of ideas, but we have been
No,
talking.
I think we came up with some really great ideas for this character.
Oh, we got there.
To be fair, started with no ideas other than shave that fucking head.
Listen,
But now I'm like not opposed to him keeping his hair. Now that I know that he's Sarah Jessica Parker.
Okay, everybody. So we have said a lot of things. We
regret all of them.
We would love for you to comment below about which version of Kenny you think is best, and if you are an artist and would like to post a rendering of a version of Kenny that we talked about, or a version of Kenny that you have created, go ahead and post it, tag us. We will reblog the ones that we love. We'll reblog all of them, and we will love all of them.
Duh.
So, anyway, that is our makeover episode. We talked about Kenny Omega. Kenny, if you're listening, these are free ideas. I'm Ariel Italic.
But you could also Venmo us for them, Kenny.
Yeah,
we did a
Kenny-
lot of heavy lifting for you, Kenny.
Kenny, slip into our Venmos at the Lady Berica. Thank y'all.
We will charge for this kind of consultation at some point in our careers if Berica's secret goes right.
Berica's secret.
Don't look at this idea like you're going to use it. We need you to make merch. We need you to make a weekly show. We need you like
Berica's secret could be the weekly show.
Berica's secret is that she's full of ideas but doesn't ever use them.
That's true. That's actually not a secret at all. Literally
That's
everyone
just-
knows that.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, wow, she's got a lot of ideas she's not doing.
Well, I have a lot on my plate.
Okay.
That's the end of the show.
I'm Ariel Italic.
Lady Berica Andrews.
Bye.